Just to start, do you want to go over what the in-principle vote on this means?
So what this means is that council has agreed in principle that housing should go on this part of land, but council also said that they did feel that the engagement was a bit flawed, so they want to make sure that there's a little more engagement, and if any changes are required to the land use bylaw, any amendments are required, then there'll be time to do that before the second reading comes. The other thing that council did is they suggested that second and third readings have to come concurrent with the development permit. And that's a fancy way of saying that instead of just the land use, the community will actually know what the buildings will look like, what the plan for the land is, who the development partner is, and so on.
What was the risk in going this way with the election?
There's actually a huge risk, which is that there were 14 of us present at this meeting, and so one was missing. 3 are not running for re-election, and one of or both of me and Councillor Chabot will not be here in the fall either. So that means you're down 6, and you have to have 8 because you have to have a quorum of the people who were at the public hearing in order to vote second and third reading. So if other incumbents don't win or choose not to run, we could be in a very sticky legal mess if this goes past the election.
What does that sticky legal mess look like? Like, what will happen if that situation you just described?
Apparently, the Minister of Municipal Affairs has the ability to issue a waiver on the quorum requirement. If there is a problem with the quorum and second and third reading are asked for, then they'll probably have to ask the minister for a waiver. But unfortunately, I am not that familiar with that section of the Municipal Government Act because I never thought we'd have to deal with it.
Can I ask you a question on another topic?
No. I'd like to discuss the Municipal Government Act's arcane provisions for the rest of the evening, please.
Has that ever happened in Calgary before?
I don't know. Not in my time, anyway.
Not in the past 7 years.
Yes. On another topic.
The Federal Court of Canada has ruled on the environmental assessment regarding the Springbank off-stream diversion project.
Well, I didn't know that.
And so the ruling is that the federal minister needs to make a decision about whether the panel, the agency, goes ahead with its own set of hearings. Theoretically, that could delay, because of course that will take some time, right? So do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, I am disappointed that we require this federal assessment because I think the province has done a really good job on the environmental assessment, but it's always been clear that there would need to be something on the federal side here as well. I'm just hoping that the minister will understand that a lot of good work has been done already and proceed as quickly as possible. And I will, once I read the ruling, I'll determine whether it makes sense to write her a letter about that or not.
While we're talking about the flood, the anniversary is coming up.
Sure is.
Soon. We might not talk to you before then. I guess do you want to just, I don't know, we'll see you
Tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's
I
Wednesday.
don't know about tomorrow.
I'm in pretty much the same boat.
Do you just want to speak about, I mean, it's 4 years out from when that flood happened, but is it still top of mind for you and a lot of Calgarians?
Of course it is. You know, I was on Princess Island last weekend. I was in North Glenmore Park this weekend, and I was seeing the low levels in the Glenmore Reservoir. I read the flood monitoring reports every day because this time of year, this is all I think about. And what's really important to understand is the city's done a lot of work on stuff within our power, within the boundaries of the city. But we really need that upstream work to happen. And that means that we got to get that Springbank Reservoir built. And we also have to start moving quickly on what the upstream mitigation on the Bow River is going to look like. So certainly a lot of work remains to be done. Certainly that remains one of the top capital priorities for the city.
But you need other levels of government to make that happen?
Yeah, you know, we continue to do work and good work in partnership with the Alberta government on the brute force mitigation work within the boundaries of the city. There's one small thing there, which is I'd love some funding from the Alberta government to start reshaping and removing gravel bars, which is currently not a approved use of the Alberta Community Revitalization Program funds. That said, you know, those things we continue to do, but the upstream stuff is really important.
Did you think, maybe if you think back where your headspace was in 2013 about this time, that this little would be done upstream by 2017?
No, you know, I really didn't. One of the things for Spring, and it's not to criticize anyone, these are big, expensive projects, but one of the things about Springbank and one of the advantages that Springbank had over the other options is that it could be constructed more quickly. And we haven't lost a ton of time, But we have lost in the months on this, and I just hope that doesn't turn into in the years.
I guess on this sort of topic, there was a report released from the province on the fire. They did talk about how the province has learned and matured since the flood and since other fires. What's your response to that?
I haven't read the report on the fires. I've certainly seen the media coverage of it. I will say that we had, within the boundaries of the City of Calgary, 0 complaints with the provincial government during the flood, especially in the immediate response time on the flood. But that's also because we are lucky that being such a big city with such a sophisticated emergency management agency, we really are able to handle this well, and we're always happy to help other jurisdictions learn from what we know, as we tried to help during the fire, and we always will continue to help.
How many Neighbor Day events are you going to this summer?
You know, the problem is that I have, because it's Ramadan, I have a religious service that goes all night that I have to go to in the evening, so I actually have to cut off my Neighbor Day around 6:30, so I think I'm only up to 17 events.